Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order tonight. The township board meeting. Clerk Lunenberger, would you do roll call, please? Here. Assessor Barrington? Here. Trustee Bowman?
Here.
Trustee Glass?
Here.
Trustee Sam?
Here.
Trustee Ziegler? Here. Thank you. If you all join me in pledge allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'd like to open it up for public comments. Anybody would like to use our microphone for public comments? Brian? You're on set with the microphone.
Oh, I was going to go first.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My name is Mary Koza, and I am the president of the Insurance Foundation. And I just wanted to let you know our newest investment that we purchased. Brian's going to talk all about it because he did the research and decided how we picked that one. So my concern is to make sure that everybody knows we have it. And we've already gotten a couple of calls from your staff. Two calls. Ancient Oaks and said, I heard you're in a wheelchair. So they were actually going to use it to take their 91-year-old father to the cemetery. So he could visit his life. So I thought that was very cool. So anyway, so I'm going to introduce Brian Sullivan as our new executive director. He comes to us, I don't want to say with history like it's a bad thing, but it's like a good thing.
Right.
So I'm going to let him go because I know you guys will follow agenda tonight. So go, Brian.
Brian, if you could step up by the microphone, please.
Sure.
Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for coming tonight.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. As you see, we have what's called the Grit Trail Chair. And the purpose of that chair is that it will go in snow, it will go along wood chips, it will go on grass, it will go through sand. And so it can be self-propelled. We have arms that move it for an individual if they want to, or for an individual behind who can track them. We found it through Cook County. I live in Lamont, which is a little further south, where we do ask that you have your visa with you and your passport. We exchange it for Lamont dollars. But one of the important things is we're in Cook County. 2 blocks one way is Will, 2 blocks the other way from my house is DuPage. But the Cook County Fort Stewart bought 12 of these units and had them in their various facilities, and they had a little newsletter that went out. So I went down into Chicago and went to their offices, and I talked with them, and they said they were heavily used, and at each one of their facilities where they had trails and people were enjoying them. So we asked if they do us a favor, and if we purchased it, if they would allow us kind of go under their name. And working with Grit, they said, that's terrific. They bought 12. We'll make it a 13th one. You guys pay us. So we got it for the price that we got. So we saved about $1,200, which was wonderful in itself. The idea with it was that we have a number of trails throughout our area code. Our service area is, now we're from Lake Zurich, but our service area is 60047. It's Ela Township. And so we enjoy a very good relationship with Ela Township. The senior center, we've done programs there. We've attended programs there, Mary, in particular. And so we thought at first was, how can we partner with Ela Township to make this available to everyone? And so we approached the staff and said, fortunately we didn't have the bike at our chair at the time, but we tried to explain it as best we could, and they had wonderful questions. My compliments to quite a fact today, sent over several. So we'll try to get those real quick. We would love to donate and be able to utilize it. We realized that when we came here that how small your equipment closet is. and how small your staff is to be able to equip it and say, we don't want to just dump another reservation system on it, and or being able to store it. So we thought if we brought it, you could at least put together, it's not going to take up a lot of space. But what we would like to do is be able to work with the seniors so that they can see it, the senior center, that they can utilize it, not just for trails, but for getting around and getting somebody, it's an easy in, easy out. Anywhere from probably 12 and older, it's easier to utilize on their own. Younger than that, or if they're in term, you can certainly push on and be able to utilize it. So it's there for you. Liability-wise, I know that that's an important question. So if we donate to you, you'd be covered. If not, we would enter into what would be akin to an IGA with you, so that we're a not-for-profit. So we find out the exact title and say that we would be working with you. That it's an easy maintenance aspect. 2 buttons on either side, the wheels pop off. So it's an easy storage. But in talking with Cook County, theirs has been employed for full summer, and they haven't had any breakdowns on their pieces yet, which is pretty encouraging. We would look at it on a quarterly basis. Our maintenance plan would be to review it and just make sure that everything's working on it. If someone brought it back and said, this is broken or that, the main pieces would be the wheels and there was sprocket underneath where it's attached to the base. Those are easy ones to get back and fix up. What we would like to be able to do is have you guys consider, and it doesn't have to be right this moment, but have you consider being able to work with us on not only utilizing the chair and getting it out, but utilizing your publications to get out the word. You didn't even have it out in your publications, and we have 2 people on it for us. So we're really excited with it. If you said we don't want to be involved, but we want to throw money at it, good. Give me $500 and we'll be happy. But the idea is we want to make sure you're in on our pictures when we're announcing the delivery to the public.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, I'll be in contact with you, and we'll bring it up we just have to have it on the agenda and discuss it.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for bringing it out. Thank you for...
It's fun. Well, I think with the breakdown.
You did.
I know. How heavy is that? How do you
A lot less than you do.
You don't fit in the trunk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on the
Because this comes off.
I know you guys are struggling about that.
I do what I don't. It's for some quick unit.
Oh.
Thank you. Is there any other public comments for tonight? Thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, with no further public comments, I'd like to move on to number 5, the consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda tonight for consideration. Item A is the approval of board meeting minutes from July 10th, 2025. B is committee meeting minutes, except minutes from the Communications, Cemetery, Health and Wellness, Highway, Parks, and Special Board. And finally, approval of the board audit, which is the total general account fund is $222,775.41. Total general assistance fund $4,423.20. Total general road fund $17,654.72. Permanent road fund, $81,946.91. Total park maintenance fund, $143,715.01. Total cemetery fund, cemetery maintenance fund, $2,039.54, for a total of all funds, $473,554.79. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion?
Second? Any discussion?
Is there a particular reason we're lumping all these together? Because if I was absent in one of the, for instance, the cow meeting, and it's on the agenda to approve, I have to abstain from that particular vote. Combine them all together to have a flexibility to do
Ted, do you want to address that?
You would still vote for the meeting minutes even if you didn't attend. So that's... Yeah, you can still vote to approve the minutes.
Is there any other discussion or anything you want to go over? Okay, we have a motion. motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Yeah, we can do that. Supervisor Lovoy?
Yes.
Trustee Sands?
Yes.
Trustee Ziegler?
Yes.
Trustee Bob?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Monthly updates from elected officials. If I could start with Trustee Ziegler.
Sure. I just wanted to say I'm really looking forward to next week's my first time as a formal community center committee meeting. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, there's some really great upcoming program that was highlighted in the last senior newsletter. But during National Seniors Month, there is a week where we've got quite a bit of programming that would be appropriate for seniors, but family members as well who might be dealing with aging parents or others. There are themes on legal, fraud protection, services support within Ela Township, so just someone kind of taking you through some of the different services that people might need. Some warning signs of Alzheimer's, there's a vaccine clinic, and a member appreciation. So if you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. And I'm going to go to a few of those as well, and I'm really excited about it. So, and I think the only other thing I'd mention is I was unexpectedly out with a friend who grew up in Cary and had a friend who said, "Oh, my dad plays poker at Ela Township." Was recommending it for my friend's dad, and she said he loves it and he comes all the time. And so, yeah, kind of nice to get a shout out unexpectedly. Those poker players. That's it for me.
Thank you. Okay, Trustee Sam, is the time?
Just an update as far as committees is alluding to. The Finance Committee is in its infancy, working through the actual formalities of it. But first of all, you'll see tonight the audit report, taking a look at that. That will formally go forward constructively with the formation of audit committee members next year. And then the same thing as far as we're working with Supervisor Gilroy on net banking proposals. So within all those falling in, and then also working with staff on various accounting issues. So within that, keeping busy on all.
Did you want to go over anything?
No, report?
Yeah. I'm sorry, never mind. Okay. Great. Sorry, Flash.
I was happy to hear about how well the events that Health and Wellness has been putting on have been going. Like the parents event that they had, and I'm excited to see how they continue.
Trustee Bowman?
I have nothing to report on. Complete the report, progress updates from the Highway Department tonight.
Wonderful. My report is, thank you everyone for being here. It's my third month in office. I've been working with Doug in the Finance Committee on banking. In the previous few weeks, Ted and I have been working with Bonnie as well on interviewing possible new township attorneys that we'll go over later. I attended the Ela Township Historical Society monthly board meeting last month. We hosted Senator Garvey Hills, as Ted mentioned in his report. Ted and I both volunteered with 55 Plus with the Cubs game, and also volunteered with the Supper Club last week, which was a big hit. Thank you, Susan, for all your work on that. Attended the Lake Zurich Chamber meeting yesterday. We're hosting a pickleball tournament for them. Next week I'll be attending a General Assistance and Emergency Assistance seminar with Sarah in Schaumburg. Our social media numbers, just because there wasn't a communications report in this one, we've reached 39,800 views on Facebook in the past 28 days. So we're sending messaging out there, and it's getting out there. We're posting things that are going on, and people are reacting and doing things, so that's great. Also, just a little kudos to the office. We've saved the township $760 so far this month by adjusting the Adobe package to only what we needed instead of getting this grand package that we weren't using. We're working on reviewing all the contracts in the office to make sure that it fits in the best interest for the residents and staff. We're also, Ted and I are working on all the IGAs that are coming due in September. We also attended the Forest Lake meeting this week that he'll probably go over. Had a good cemetery meeting. And just a reminder, Historical Society is hosting History Day on September 6th, which the flyers are out. And the last staff report is for my interim Professor Bonnie Barrington.
Thank you. I hit the ground running when I started on July 24th. I came into a very enthusiastic office. They're such hard workers. I'm so happy with all of my staff. I have my report in the board packet, so if you want to read the whole thing, but just to touch on some highlights. We did come into a little bit of a hiccup with finding out some field work hasn't been completed. That was contracted out to Activate to complete that. They were assigned over 200 permits. They only completed 11 of those permits, and all 11 contained errors. So we're having to go back and redo things that have already been done. It's kind of frustrating. On July 14th, about a month later than what was verbally promised, Activate did submit our values to the county. All of our values were incorrectly reported as township revaluation. This was a huge error. Actually, it's something that has been taken to court against the county, different counties in Illinois and different assessors' offices. It's only allowed during the quadrennial years to be posted that way. Thankfully, we caught that error early on in the process and got that corrected, hopefully, saving some people problems within the township. And then we found that in the early hours of July 15, Warren Dixon from AccuBase actually accessed our system and changed his initials on all the permit files that he was assigned and took that off so that no one could see that they were assigned to him. And working with Lori and Ted to get all of that stuff resolved. Some other things that I found in the office was that there definitely were some taxpayer service gaps. Several of our residents have reported receiving inadequate assistance from the previous administration in the office. In one specific case, a resident out of Long Road was called and didn't get help from our staff, so had to go to the county. And I found that there was an error on his property record cards where a large chunk of wetlands was improperly assessed as roads within the last 3 years. And his tax bill had gone from $400 to over $10,000. We were able to correct that and go back 1 year and at least do that and then fix it for going forward. Some other things that I found in the office upon taking over was some unaddressed communication issues. There were over 63 voicemails on the assessor's phone that had no notes or information on if they were resolved or followed up on. There was no transition planning, even though her resignation was planned. No passwords or anything to allow a seamless transition for planning for the next person coming in. And then for 2025, there was some neighborhood value discrepancies. Again, AccuBase was contracted to do the assessments in our township. They actually only valued 42% of our township, leaving 58% of our township unchanged. That creates a disparity for tax bills going forward. And I believe there's been a big problem with that happening in the past, and have nothing wrong to think that the same things have happened in prior years. Unfortunately, by the time that I took office on July 24th, it was too late for me to correct any of these problems, so we're going to have to just correct them as it comes up in the appeal season. We did finalize our books with the county on August 5th. I signed the statutory oath returning our books to the county level. We ended up with a 1.0441 equalization factor from the county. This basically means that on top of the valuations that AccuBase did, 4.441% will be added to all the assessments in our township. Our values will be published on August 21st, making our 30-day appeal deadline September 22nd. To account for this window, our office is going to have extended business hours to better serve the taxpayers. We are going to stay open until 4 p.m. on Friday, August 22nd and 29th, and on Friday, September 12th. And then we're going to open on Saturday, September 6th, and the 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Moving forward, I am working closely with my team to address some of these challenges that have come up and to ensure accuracy in our assessments going forward and to improve service to our residents. My priorities remain upholding the integrity of the assessor's office and providing fair, transparent, and responsive services to the people of Ela Township. And I just want to say thank you to Lori and Ted for making my transition coming in as easy as possible, and thank you to Kelly, Doug, and Robert for coming in and seeing how the transition has happened. I appreciate the support from all three of you.
Okay, so I have a brief question. So go ahead.
I was just wondering for like a couple of clarification questions.
Sure.
So I was wondering, where does this 1.0441 equalization factor come from?
So after AccuBase did all of the valuations, or the 42% of the valuations of our township, the county then runs their own reports, and they found that we were still 4.441% below that statutory level of assessment of 33.33%. So they applied that 4.441% to bring our township-wide level of assessment up to the statutory level. The problem is that when you look at our books currently, there are some neighborhoods that are being assessed at 37% level of assessment, and then there's other neighborhoods that are at like a 28% level of assessment. So the idea is to get that equalization factor as close to 1 as possible, and then that shows that everybody has been brought up to where they should be. And unfortunately, that didn't happen.
And you mentioned that, like, with some of the errors in the AccuBase numbers, that, like, those could get sorted out to the legal fees. Is there any way for us to, like, make that easier on residents? I know that's kind of difficult process.
One of the things I'm doing is extending our hours so that we can be more accessible to taxpayers. My communication to my team is just that we're here to help residents be their advocate, not their adversaries. So my goal is to handle everything at our office to keep it out of the county and keep our values, as close to being done at home. And by at home, I mean here in Ela Township. As far as correcting some of the things that didn't happen because of AccuBase, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to address most of that until next year. So it is going to have to come down to board of review changes.
So it would be helpful if you put, like, a notice in the newsletter that we put out, like letting people know about the services?
So I definitely have been working with Lori. We have made quite a few social media posts about our extended hours, about I did hire a local high school student who's going to be helping update some pictures about the township. So he's going to be working outside of normal business hours because he's a high school student, maybe doing some Saturday mornings, things like that. That's going to be posted on Facebook. So working together closely with Lori, she's doing a great job on the social media and getting the messaging out, and then also making sure that it gets shared when it does get posted by the township. It gets shared in all of the local groups on Facebook so that we can reach as many people as possible. It's also on the website for people who aren't on social media.
Thank you, Lori.
So, Bonnie, I've seen recent connection with Lake County, getting all these notices saying these are all going out, various other townships.
Yes.
So where do we fall? I've not seen Ela. Is that coming, or do you know? They have a visit for it?
So it will, we're being published next Thursday,
Okay.
and that's when the notice will be out. Ela was one of the last townships to be done. Again, unfortunately out of my control.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question, Beth. Any other questions?
I don't have a lot. I just wanted to say we had 2 FOIA requests this month. And also I spent a good chunk of time with the deputy clerk clearing out the final files that were left by previous clerks and identifying all kinds of things that were not supposed to be there and moved to where they need to be and sorting through all of that. So we have a very good handle on what we have now and where we are going forward.
Okay, going on to the department head. Right, Sarah. Department, George Marks, please. With health and wellness.
Hello. I'm going to make this pretty quick because a lot of my stuff is in the packet already. But we are running some events. We did just have a pretty successful playground meetup yesterday, so that was good. We had about 20 families come, so that was good. We are hosting 2 other events. One of them is going to be yoga in the park, August 29th and then September 19th. So those 2 Fridays starting at 10 o'clock. So if anybody's interested, I do have a QR code on the flyers to register for. It does say please register, space is limited, and that is because the kid is at a park, but if it rains, we're going to move it inside. And then we're also going to do a free self-defense workshop with kids 5 to 10, September 23rd from 4 to 5, and then an adult one that Thursday, the 25th, from 6 to 7. So we have teamed up with some local organizations that are going to help us with that. We are still doing our caregiver support group. We also have an open Alcohol Anonymous meeting on Wednesdays at 7, and we are still doing social worker at the library every second Monday of the month. So those are kind of the things that we're still doing. And then as the holidays are picking up, we're going to start doing our holiday meals and a giving tree again. So I'm going to wrap that up.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Well, Sarah, maybe I'm just reading out here, the participation of the library.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like it's overwhelming.
It definitely ebbs and flows.
Okay.
Sometimes there's nobody. When was it? The last time we just did it, someone was waiting for them. So it really,
Continue.
yes, I think it is worth continuing.
And then the self-defense course, I think that's for senior citizens too.
It can be, actually, so when you do log on, it does ask for your activity level.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that way he can tailor it to who is going to be there. So, and if it is successful, we might be able to convince him to come back. We can maybe extend the ages and play with that a little bit. So.
And thank you for Director Marks for working with these people at no charge to serve the township.
All of these are at no charge, so that's good.
Thank you. Highway Department.
I also just have a couple things. I wanted to notify everybody that the building permit for the community center generator has been issued. I'll find that out today, and I will let everybody know when I find out as soon as construction can start. It shouldn't be too far in the near future, considering for just a little bit. And we had a pre-construction meeting for our road resurfacing last Wednesday, and we've been lucky enough to be chosen to get our roads paved first this year, which has never happened. Road signs are going out on Monday with anticipation of milling starting the following week as in Forest Lake. That's all I got.
Great news, thank you.
Thank you.
Dylan, Hunter.
Okay, just a couple things. Camp wrapped up last week, so the staff is sleeping well. We actually ended up our summer $1,500 over in revenue, so
And that has everything to do with Joe accepting extra kids for 7 weeks. We have a very large group of kids, you're all aware. And so long as we weren't on a field trip, they had enough staff to keep kids. So people thought with parents, bringing them in. So it was a very successful camp. Summer, not on wood, not a single big incident. So very happy about that. Yeah.
And for our guests, just if you could just say about how many children
Oh,
were there?
approximately between 45 and 56 kids every week. So,
Per day.
Per day.
Per day.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And yesterday was first day of school. So homework club started yesterday. It's a fast transition from camp to homework club. It's going very well. I drove a bus yesterday to Ivy Fox because one of our drivers is on vacation for the first 2 weeks. I don't know how to manage that. But yeah, it went very smoothly as first day of school would go. And kids were very happy. In October, there is the Illinois Department on Aging Conference in Peoria, and myself, along with Tracy Cole-Grossi from Arlington Heights, will be presenting there. And then, as Trustee Zeiger mentioned, September is National Senior Center Month, and we have all kinds of activities, particularly during that week, where we kick off with the Community Center celebration, and every day from that day on have something happening. And this Saturday, I will have a full bus of seniors heading to Madison, Wisconsin, and then to Apple Valley, and then finally to Fitzgerald for dinner. So it'll be a full day. Full day. And we'll keep up the camp trains.
All right, any questions for Dr. John? All right, thank you. No other department head updates. We'll go on to the next agenda, which is new business. A is the audit review. Sorry, I jumped the gun on that. So Doug, in charge of finance, is going to give us an overview of the recent audit we had before.
Okay, just a little preface as far as normally the auditor comes and does the presentation. In this particular case, they want additional money to come, right, etc. So I stepped forward and said, I think I can do this after 45 years of doing it. So if you find that I don't do it adequately, then we can always go and accept that offer from them. But within that, I'm going to run through this. I'm going to do it on a higher level. So just touch on the highlights, and then I rarely meet with individual trustees, etc., to go into the more detailed items if there's something that you want further explanation on. So I'm turning to past your table of contents. The main thing that we're concerned with is the auditor's opinion. That's on page 1. And that's what it's telling us what they think of our financial statement. So I will also preface is that you look at the salutation. Who's it addressed to? Board of Trustees, right? That's one of our legal responsibilities in our position is to review the audit and be responsible for the results thereof. So it's addressed to us, we look at it, and then in theory we would go ahead once we're satisfied with it, then it can be submitted to the state. So it's not the responsibility of the supervisor or the township manager, it's the trustee. So within that, the big thing they give is their opinion, and in that first paragraph, they state what they've audited. Now, when you read there, it's the accompanying modified cash basis financial statement. Now, you've heard me talk about cash basis and accrual basis and a committee of the whole meeting, etc. If you drop down to emphasis of a matter, that fourth paragraph down there, we draw attention to one of the financial statements describes the basis of accounting. Now, the basis of accounting, cash basis, is a basis of accounting other than generally accepted accounting principles required. So everybody realize that this audit report is not in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. It is acceptable by the state of Illinois and reporting to them that we can do this on a cash basis. So within that, we've opted, at least this year, to say let's do it on a cash basis. state of Illinois will accept it, and I'll be honest with you, it's a far easier audit to do than a pool basis. Less time, therefore less money. So within that scenario, and if you were to go just further explanation on that, and look at page the footnote, and we go to basic. This is on page 20. You see basis of accounting there. So everybody understands in the second sentence, well, basis of accounting refers to when revenues are received and expenditures dispersed, right? So the township records revenues when we receive it, not when we bill, right? So for example, when Mike bills our surrounding communities for our services, we don't recognize that revenue until we collect it, not when we bill. A pool basis would say we should record it when it's billed. And then the same thing with our expenses. When we write a check, pay our bills, we record the expense. Pool basis would say when we get an invoice in, we record it as an expense. Right. So that's the difference we're seeing here. So going back then to page 1, what we want in that second paragraph under opinions is, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly, and again, in all material respects. The auditor doesn't look at 100% of everything. They're doing test basis. And so when they say material respects, if there was something significantly wrong, then they would have to address that. But they're saying they didn't find anything in accordance to what we gave them. So their opinion is that they present fairly in all material respects financial statements in accordance with a modified cash basis of accounting.
What's the difference between a regular cash basis and a modified cash basis?
Well, modified and regular cash basis. If there's a transaction, for example, that like our performance fund, we construction fund, if we collect that, that's a liability, right? So that, from a cash basis, we would just record cash and record it in our account. We recognize that as a liability. Modified cash would again say fixed assets, I mean equipment, etc. That we record as an asset rather than capital outlay. So it's a further refinement, but if there was something that was going to record, if we had debt, for example, and we took out a bond issue, we got cash in, we'd have to record that liability up for it. So it's a nuance of cash basis, but very similar to that.
Okay.
So with that said, our opinion is clean. Keep in mind, the auditor audits our financial statements. We are responsible for preparing them. They audit them, right? So don't think that they create these. And here, Kathy Edwards is doing it. We put these together. They come and audit, and then they give us their opinion. Something new at the bottom of that page is they have to address whether they have a concern that we're able to continue in business. Right. So at the bottom of that last paragraph, they have to address that they think we're fine. That nothing's out there that's moving that's going to cause us any problem. So, all right. So then they explain their responsibility and looking at their procedures, etc. So all in all, we got a clean opinion. We can submit this to the state, and we're on case basis. The next section is management's discussion and analysis. All that section does is explain what's happened during the year. So something significant that we want the reader to look at. And then we can do anything that's noteworthy that someone needs to know about that happened. And all they do is, again, point out on page 3, financial highlights, our net position, meaning we had positive revenue over expenses for the year ending 3/31/25 of $678,000. So if nothing else in there, it's just net changes between them. And then the only thing to point out, if you go to page 8, that's our full balance. Why would you do this?
I have a question about page 6, and I was hoping you might be able to answer.
Page 6.
Page 6, okay?
Yeah, so I was wondering if you could explain the difference between the total assets and the net position.
Net position is assets minus liabilities. So if you take the total assets minus liabilities, it would equal the 18,462 minus the 41,000. The total liabilities will equal that net position. And then they have to disclose where, and you'll see further back in here, what that net position is made up of. So if you look at our investment in fixed assets, is $11,372,000. We never really, again, in 2004, the accounting principles changed, and you've got to record your infrastructure, like your roads, our own roads that we're responsible for, has been capitalized as part of that. And then restricted, and you'll see further again that these are our particular funds, our general assistance, I'll show you. Individual funds that have money restricted for legal purposes that we can only spend it in that for. And that unrestricted are town funds that we can spend it wherever we want to spend it. Okay? Did that answer it? Then on page 8 is our balance sheet. So again, looking there, and remember this was then, we look down to restricted, you see our total cash, and one difference between cash and accrual, there's no liabilities on here. So like typically you see accounts payable, accrued compensated absences, that type of thing. None of that's on here. So this is purely cash basis. And then to answer your question, Robert, if you look under restricted there, you'll see general assistance, road and bridge. Those monies can only be spent for that legal purpose.
Right. I remember we were talking about that, like how we think.
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, if you look at page 10, you'll see our breakout by fund of all each balance sheet. By fund will give you a total there. And the other pages are basically detail of that, broken out by fund. You have revenue expenditures, and you have your assets. As far as the financial reporting entity, it's just us. We have no other oversight authority on any other entity out there that our board controls. So that's explained in the footnotes. If you look at page 18, we get into the footnotes, explaining the type of our financial reporting entity and the types of funds. And again, if you look at these funds, so we don't have a lot. Right? So if we had a municipality, we have water billing, we would have proprietary type of funds, but we don't have that. So as far as that, we've touched on that. Custodial risk, we should talk about that. Look at page 22. Our investments, which are out there, right, we have a total at 3/31/25 $7,195,000. We're supposed to disclose if we have a risk, right, of losing that money. If something's not covered by, in this case, FDIC insurance, so with the banks. So if a bank went bust and we had $4 million in it and they only had FDIC insurance of $250,000, so the reader wants to know, well, we got risk there. What we've done, though, with these banks is go back and ask them to pledge collateral, their securities, so we don't have a risk of loss. So, pointed out here, if you look at the custodial risk and concentration of risk on page 22, you'll see that the banks have given us collateral of their own securities, so we're okay. And then you see our concentration. A lot of times you want to know who are we putting too much money with one place, right? So if you look at this concentration, you can see our three banks are Fine Line, Barrington, and Cornerstone. What the percentages are with each of them. So again, just to make sure that we're not putting too much at risk. The only other thing I quickly call your attention to is our pension fund on page 23 of IMRF. And this I very seldom see, right? But if you turn like 23 and 24, tell you who participates and what the benefits are, etc. So look at page 26. So, and under changes in net pension liability, typically you'll see that the pension liability generally always exceeds the assets. So you have an unfunded pension obligation. If you look at us, we have a surplus. We're very good. We're plus $524,000. So we're over 100% funded, which is a rarity. So it's very good. And the other footnotes in here, as far as on page 27, risk management, it tells the reader if we have anything lawsuits out there that we have risk of loss in excess of insurance coverage that would be a detriment to the township. There's none. We're not setting settled claims from risk have not exceeded insurance coverage over the last 3 years. And then note 7, that last line, what the auditor is supposed to do. If something happens from the audit date, March 31st, 25, until they finish their report, if there was something significant that affected the financial position of the township, it has to be disclosed. And if you read that last sentence there been no recognized and non-recognized subsequent events between March 31st and the date of this report. So welcome. The rest of the pages are really detailed as supporting what's in the financial statements. I would just, again, call your attention to page 29. And this is IMRF as far as our changes in funded liability. And you see for 2000, this is 12/31/24. But if you look at the last 3 lines from the bottom, planned fiduciary net position, this is that percent funded. So you look and see we're 108.68% funded, which is excellent. If you look at 2015, we were 89% funded. So we've done very well in staying with our required employee contributions and making sure our employees' pensions are safe, fully funded. And then the rest of the statements, right, are detailed that explain the summary. So if you wanted to go in and dig into pages 33, 34, etc. throughout, you'll see the breakout from the summary report. Okay? That's it for the audit report.
Can I have one question?
Yeah.
So this is an audit through the 31st of March.
Sure.
There's a subsequent audit that is going to be completed from the period of the 31st of March to April 1st until Lori's audit, correct? And that's underway?
Yeah, they've done the work. I think that they completed what it's ready for it. But again, that's a statutory requirement.
Yep.
When we have a turnover in supervisor, that stub period has to be audited.
Okay.
So it comes.
Great.
And then you got the letters from the auditors. Yeah, they're required communication to us. And the first one is significant audit matters. Everything that they've said that there's no lack of authoritative guidance. I mean, we got everything recorded properly, right? And then I always look at that on the back page of that. If there's difficulties in encountered in performing the audit, we encountered no significant difficulties, so that's a very positive thing. And the other big one is disagreements with management. I mean, a lot of times, in my career, if management didn't agree with what I was coming up with, we could have issues, right? I say, no, you get a qualified opinion, whatever they need, and you're always concerned that you look at this and if they pointed out something that management's reporting it this way and you think it should be another way, they have to point it out here. So, and we are pleased to report no such disagreement. Okay? If there were issues, we talked with somebody else, we were looking at this as far as a potential problem, but we have to tell them that we're doing that. But again, we have nothing of that nature. So that's required communication. And then the last one is their assessment of our internal controls. They have to look at our internal controls as far as a risk-based audit and say what we had weaknesses they need to concentrate, or there could be these controls are so weak that we cause the material to the statement of the financial statement. They're saying they didn't have that, right? And if they did, they were required to communicate that to us, but that nothing is communicated here at that stage. And they had a couple comments, actually only one comment on that. Right? The prior comment on bank reconciliations we addressed last year. Ted has taken care of that. And the only issue that's come up now is our signature authority. And by law, nobody's only authorized signer. So we have to figure out a way to secure that. But right now she's signing everything, and our controls over that are limited by legal requirements. So all in all, no material weaknesses, so that's a good point from the internal control standpoint. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Sam.
Yeah. Any
And thank you.
questions afterwards, whatever? If I didn't touch them all, let me know. Yeah.
We appreciate your time and your knowledge and informing us on everything. So, thank you.
I think we do need a motion to approve this audit, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to approve the audit?
Motion.
Second. Okay. Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Zago? Yes. Trustee Glass?
Yep.
Trustee Sands?
Yes.
Supervisor Lomba? Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Second item is the staircase project. Okay. So in the packet was, we didn't do your report.
Yeah, it's okay.
No.
I
I'm sorry.
mean, I didn't have anything to add to my report. I didn't have a report, but that was very good.
Okay.
They were very happy.
Okay. So in the staircase project, it's in the packet. We're looking to add a staircase for the back of the building so that there's an emergency exit. If something happened by the front doors, there'd be another way to get out. There was proposals that we were looking at last year that cost in excess of $100,000. We think we've come to a solution that is going to cost closer to $60,000. The proposal that is in the packet that I'm looking for a motion to approve is to work with this architect, Daniel Lisa's Architects, in the amount of $3,000. The scope of his project and description is in the packet. So I'm looking for a motion to approve this and second it, and then we can discuss any questions that are related.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Anyone want to discuss any questions?
Yeah, could you explain, so like, the original idea, or the idea for the stairs that we're going for right now is around $60,000.
Correct.
What is this $3,000?
It is for the architect. It's listed here. It's in the packet.
Architecture allow the engineering company to review the situation.
They have to review originals and ensure that the location we're putting at will provide us one and the staircase and such.
All right, so this would be probably okay. Would this also, would this also give us a permit to start?
No.
This is just a review.
Yeah, just a review.
The area, the engineering recommendations, and what they anticipate.
Okay, thank you. All right, so can we have a vote we have a motion, we have a second?
Motion.
We already have the motion and second. Trustee Zegler? Yes. Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Sands?
Yes.
Supervisor Lomba? Yes. Item 8C is the town hall facade. Discussion of possible action to approve the change order in the town hall facade replacement project with Julia and Associates. Again, this is in the packet. This building is about 20 years old, I believe, and some of the bricks are starting to fall off of the front. So they are requesting $2,500 for a fee to document the condition and list plans and details to repair.
Motion.
Yes, I
Doing just what you need.
Yeah, second.
I'll second.
Do we have discussion? Oh, any discussion, please? Okay, so we can vote. Trustee Ziegler? Yes. Trustee Sands?
Yes.
Trustee Fox?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Supervisor Bowman? Yes. Okay, 8D is the Community Park Drainage Project. Discussion and possible action to approve the final payment of the Community Park Drainage Project in the amount of $2,412.42. This is just an approval to pay the last of the bill. I need a motion. Second. Any discussion? No? Okay. Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Zegler? Yes. Trustee
Yes. Trustee Sam?
Yes.
Supervisor Wallace?
Yes. Okay, 8E. Knox Park signage, discussion and possible action to approve the Knox Park signage to be signed by tomorrow for the amount of $3,200.53. In the actual proposal and estimate that's included in the package, that amount includes a sign in for the lobby. That includes, it will say assessor one side and administration the other side. Also includes lettering. There was pictures done in there at state stations too, as well as Knox Park on the white fence. In the package, if you have any questions today, I mean, to see it. And there's packages back there too of what's proposed, the pricing, what was proposed previously with the monument sign, just to give you an idea of the difference, the impact it would have versus front, versus parallel, versus perpendicular, as well as examples of Kennedy Park and Braemar signs that are parallel as well. That if it is possible, each of these letters would be 24 inches in height. They would be very visible from the street. So I need a motion to approve the spending. I need a motion to approve the amount for the signage for the lobby, the doors, and the Knox Park sign.
Motion.
Second. Any discussion?
I can do, like, in the other minutes, I was at last meeting, I thought there was a committee being formed to look at these signs, that was going to be office and doors.
I did talk to Robert, and it didn't hear from Larry if you wanted to discuss it any further. You said you were talking about a berm and another sign.
A sign like the one that was there, but moved.
The monument sign.
And we can move it down closer to the road, not to the highway, but closer to the entrance, so it's not behind the fence.
Right.
It can be moved down without any issues.
You'd have to move the berm if it was in front of the town hall, though.
It would be at the end of the fence line, and it would meet the setbacks from the highway and the clearance to the right-of-way of the entrance of the apron of the driveway to Knox Park, and it can be installed there. I'm still in disagreement with having a sign that's parallel to the highway. You're just not going to see it at speeds that you're traveling. And to me, with these baseball gloves and footballs and stuff, it kind of looks like an amusement park sign to me. It doesn't look very professional at all. It just and I don't think it's serious. I don't think it's. I mean, for the amount of money that you're spending, I think it's. I'd rather not have it because I don't think you're going to be able to see.
Each letter is 24 inches high.
I understand, but it's also parallel to the highway, and you're driving. And if you're in the opposite lane with traffic, you'll never even see it on the other side of the road. I'm not in favor of it. I'd rather not discuss it.
I think Robert brought up, correct me if I'm wrong, but some acknowledgement that it's Ela Township, this is Knox Park, and
that was the other comment.
And I addressed that in this package that too much, I mean, how much lettering do you want to put on the fence, and proposing to put Ela Township on the green concession building next year, because that's where people will be sitting watching football games. So you see Ela Township for 3 hours as opposed to just driving by and missing it. So that's where I'm
well, the sign that was there before clearly states Knox Park, and then under it, it clearly states Ela Township.
And you can't see it from.
Well, I mean, it's a color that's faded. That sign was there for.
Right, but you can't see it because it's behind the fence. I don't think
right.
that the sign.
It would be moved down.
Closer to town hall.
It would be moved down toward the end of beyond the end of the fence.
So in the
and have the proper setbacks from 22, and then we have to put it on a berm. You don't have to, but by putting a berm in, it raises the sign up, still keeping it within the permit levels of height, but it gives its distance from the ground up. And it also meets the setback from 22, and it also meets the setback from the turn and the radius of the entrance of the driveway.
So the Knox Park actual letters on that would probably be 12 inches high.
We can make that anything we want, and it doesn't have to be in the wood material or polymer material.
It's $9,100, not including the berm.
Right.
So you're going to spend probably closer to $15,000 for this one sign, as opposed to
I haven't seen the new quotes on.
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen the quotes on the installed, and this is just one example. There's many opportunities of getting more quotes for different kinds of signs. And if there's a meeting set up, I'd be glad to come to it and be part of it.
I just didn't hear back from you, so I wasn't sure if you're interested.
I never heard from you.
I didn't realize I was supposed to call the meeting and ask you to come.
Okay. If somebody contacted me, I'd love to come in and the two of us or whoever is on the committee meet and I can put the statistics down on setbacks and everything else that's required, because I did look into those.
If you look at the pictures on second to the last page, it shows you the view from the other side of the street. And if you have a Knox Park sign on the white fence, you'll be able to see it. I mean, a perpendicular sign, you can't even see the Ela Township sign that's here. Not even a sign.
But if I take that same view and put myself in a car, not as a pedestrian crossing the street, but putting myself in a car that's going east and west, this pictorial is completely different. You wouldn't see the sign.
I would just say that I rarely see the Ela Township sign. Driving down 22, because you're going 45 to 60 miles an hour. And I think like it or not, the Knox sign at 2 feet tall for each letter, it will absolutely be visible too.
Correct. We don't have to do the sports clippings on the sides if you don't like the look of that. I mean, it was just because it's park, so we're trying to make it look fun. It has been approved by the village already. They have given formal approval for the Knox Park sign going on the white fence. I think that would be the most visible. People are looking for Knox Park. They say they're playing at Knox Park. They're not saying they're coming to 1155 East Route 22. They're saying Knox Park.
My thinking on specifically the discussion of having the smaller Ela Township letters underneath the Knox Park, or like as part of the parallel Knox Park sign. You and I discussed that, and it's very expensive to do that, because each new letter is expensive. It's something like an extra, $2,000.
And then we can do it because we're going to, why have the letters on that when we're going to put it on the building?
Yeah, exactly. It was redundant, so it makes sense to not include them on this sign.
So going forward, are we okay with approving letters on the fence without the football and the symbols there? Just in discussion, I'm not asking for a motion.
I support it. I think it's fine. I think you're right. I think the township is, you don't need to have the township associated with the park.
We've been going over the sign for over a year, and we haven't had any suggestions or
Well, the reasoning behind adding the township that Knox Park is perceived to be Lake Zurich Park District. It's been known for years, and that's always been an issue every year.
right, and that's why we put Ela Township on the concession stand where people are sitting for a football game for 4 hours. They would see that it's Ela Township. On the fence, they're passing at 45 miles an hour. They just need to know where they're going.
On a side note, I had somebody drop something off at my office last week, and I was able to tell them if you put Knox Park in Google Maps, it will take you to the Park, and it led them to Township. I think it's a pretty good indicator on behalf of everyone knows it as Knox Park.
Agreed. They just don't know it's the township, Knox Park. In fact, the mayor of Lake Zurich got a lot of thank you letters for the new pickleball courts in the Lake Zurich Park District.
It's serving the community. I mean, I'm not here for a pat on the back. We're serving the community. So would you be okay with it, with just having, again, not asking for a motion, but just having Knox Park on the sound, or do you want to take this again for another year or so to get more ideas on sign?
Fine with you. That's when I drove in tonight, I saw the signs on the pickleball court. They're far better than this. I mean, from the standpoint, they say Knox Park, they say Ela Township, they're condensed. They're
Wonderful job.
So, and to me, this is unsightly. Right? And you know, your point of taking the sports turf and everything off, but.
So Larry, would you be willing to come up with some ideas that you'd like to bring to the board or start?
Sure. If you want to call a meeting together.
Sure. Just tell me when you're available and you can call a meeting. We'll put you in charge of it. And then you can bring us some ideas. So we'll table this once again.
Thank you.
So then we have number 8F, Resolution 2510, rescinding Resolution 2208, appointing a township attorney. In the past, the last time we appointed a township attorney was appointed, they made a resolution. We were the only township in Illinois that had a resolution to appoint an attorney. We do not need one, so I'd just like to rescind this resolution for consideration to appoint a new attorney. I need a motion to rescind the resolution.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion?
Why are we changing attorneys?
As a supervisor, I have the right to.
I'm just saying, why are we changing? I know you're right. I understand. I'm asking why.
I want to make sure that we have the best service at the best prices, and that we are being served as well as we should be. And we are the big fish, and we are getting quality service for the money we're paying.
If I can interject, I'm sorry. Rescinding this resolution doesn't necessarily indicate that you're changing attorneys. It just allows you to change attorneys without.
Thank you for clarification.
So these other attorneys, are they attorneys from law firms that represent?
Trustee Bowman, this is not, that is the next item. Number is G. This is the rescinding the resolution so that we can move to the next thing. So do we need to discuss rescinding the resolution?
I guess my question is, if this ordinance is in place, we cannot look at changing law. That's correct. Yeah. So then, and again, why would we put an ordinance appointing a law firm?
So that's why we have a motion.
Yep. And Trustee Ziegler? Yes. Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Sands?
Yes.
Supervisor Roy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we can move on to G.
Okay, so 8G, Township Attorney discussion and possible action to appoint Township Attorney. In the previous 2 meetings, I asked if anybody was interested in interviewing other Township Attorneys. I have shared, I went to the Township Officials of Illinois Attorneys seminar that they gave for new incoming supervisors. I saw all of their presentations. The 3 attorneys that we are considering, the current attorney, Angela Blink, who is the past president of the Illinois Attorney Association, the current president of the Illinois Association of Township Attorneys with OMFM, and as well as a board member on there. They all have wonderful resumes. I sent them a list of questions that they answered, and we did Zoom interviews with each one of these attorneys. Just seeing how they answer things. We've had some problems with billing Nancy Blink in the past. This past month we received a bill from January that we just have the bill now. So there's some clerical errors and some of the things that they've sent to us in the past. So we just wanted to check and see that we're getting the best service for our township and our residents with an attorney. With that, with the interviews, with the answers they gave us, with everything that was given, that they had given, my recommendation is that we go with OMFM, Olson, Murphy, Fraser, and McGrath. The attorney we'd be working with would be Ross Seppler, who is raised in Buffalo Grove and is a Stevenson graduate. He's familiar with the area. They have worked with Ela Township. He's the current president of the Illinois Association of Attorneys for Townships. And I would like to sign on as the attorney representing Ela Township for future, for new legal matters.
Can we do a motion in a second? We did not.
No, so this is my reasoning.
Okay.
So I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
And then discussion.
Well, I agree with your recommendation that they are hourly rate. Yeah. For $244 an hour versus current $255 for pencil book.
I thought it was 275. That's okay.
Well, it's different rates depending on what services we get rendered.
Well, it's a flat rate with OMF and not with Vantage. There's different rates.
So they have represented and they do represent townships.
They currently represent 17 townships and over 40 municipalities, and they've got 50 years of experience.
And he's the president of the Illinois Township Association of Attorneys.
And he's part of the consortium that works with our
I gave you all the information.
lobbyists. I didn't see anything about the lobbyists for supporting the lobbyists.
It's all in, and it was in our interviews as well.
I didn't see that.
Okay, any other further discussion?
You mentioned the access to the paralegals for the OMFM.
Yes.
And that is the new service that is open currently.
Correct. So if we had a minor question, if Jessica had a question that we could use a paralegal or someone on a lower case, that they would allow us to use a paralegal at billing at $95 an hour as opposed to $250 an hour to keep things in our budget for using non-partner.
So can I ask the consensus of the interview, which was you, Bonnie, and Ted, was this one?
Yes. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, so my opinion, I believe no matter which firm we go with, we'd be well represented. They all had extensive experience dealing with township. I have experience with Carolyn because of the last 3 years, but I had, to me, it was, I don't think you can go wrong. So it was I will say their presentations are in how they presented themselves did differentiate themselves.
When you look at the proposal, the other two firms went the extra mile to put that stuff for it, and so they answered the questions and that was it. So,
All three firms did a really great job. OMFM presented, they were just a step above in their presentation, the way they carried themselves, the way they addressed us, the way they answered questions, just everything about them. And I've worked with Carrie Lynn since I started. I've been happy. She's been responsive. But this just took it to a different level where I feel as if our township will be better represented.
I would just the only other thing I would add is I know Laura, you had a very specific scorecard that you used, weighted. I'm assuming you all objectively kind of filled that out and took a look at where things landed, which I thought was a really smart approach to kind of how you assess. I thought the other thing that OMFM and AW did that we did see from Hansel Blank was on the freebie question that you asked. Both of them went into much more specific and documented case law, which Hansel Blank just kind of was Hansel Blank just did like a 2-sentence, like, here's our recommendation. They didn't give any kind of rationale or any additional detail. So,
And by going with them doesn't say we're going to have to stay with them for the rest of our lives if we don't have a resolution to do that. If we go with them and decide that it's not the level that we're used to and we wish to go back to Amsoil Lake, we can go back to Amsoil Lake. I think it would just serve the residents and the community to try this one on them. I feel very comfortable with them. They've been through interviews, they've been through questionnaires, they've been through everything, and I think that they would be best served for that. So, any other questions?
I just want to mention for, like, on the record, we do have, like, some ongoing things that Amsoil is working on, and they would be perfect.
Wait, we're happy to talk about that. Okay.
We have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Are we ready for a vote?
Yep.
Okay, Trustee Ziegler?
Yes.
Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Sands?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilmot?
Yes. Okay, thank you. I'll ask them to come to the next board meeting so everyone can, and there's no travel expenses either, which is nice. Let's see, so number 8H, I'm going to table that since we didn't get those.
We're going to the session, right?
Right.
So this has anything to do with the question, so
Yeah. Okay, so item 9, executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation. I'd like to call an executive session.
Okay.
sorry, so just know that you're tabling.
I'm tabling the executive session minutes
Until we get out of executive session, correct? Okay. A motion to enter executive session. Motion.
Second.
Okay.
It won't be long.
Trustee Ziegler?
Yes.
Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Sam?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilmot?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. You don't have to stay.
Time is 8.
Okay.
Okay. So can I give a motion to reopen board meeting?
Motion.
Second.
It is 8:09. Trustee Ziegler?
Yes.
Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman? Trustee Sam?
Great.
Supervisor Wilmot?
Yes.
Okay.
I need a motion to approve the executive session minutes for July 10th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? And Trustee Ziegler?
The motion needs to be amended to, if you're going to release them or not.
Oh, yes, but not. Do we want them approved and released, or approved but not released?
Approved and not released.
So you don't have your motion.
Okay, I need to read it. So who made the motion?
Kelly.
You made the motion, but she seconded.
No.
She seconded.
What?
So I'm amending the motion to approve the executive session minutes for July 10th, 2025 and not be released.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes. And who made that motion?
Motion. I made the motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Supervisor Wilmot?
Yes.
Trustee Ziegler?
Yes.
Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Sam?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Perfectly.
All right, if there's no other business, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All right. Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Glass?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilmot?
Yes.
Trustee Sam?
Yes.
Trustee Ziegler?
Yes. All right, thanks, everyone.